Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, does the NSA plan on shutting down thousands of truthers? If not, then why do they insist on compiling detailed profiles of each and every single one of us? Who you talk to, when you talk, how long you talk, who you text, why you text, what you Google. Why is all this information kept by the National Security Agency? Well, what I have to show you in this video is going to drop your jaw to the floor, because via a Freedom of Information Act or a FIOA Act, information was requested from the NSA. Now, what was that information requested? Well, all the posters that they put up on their walls since their founding in 1952, or their proclaimed founding, but all their posters that have been in the building, propaganda that was used against the own employees there at the NSA. And they're chilling, to say the least. But before I show you those photos, I want to say just a few things. First of all, what makes this even creepier is in 1949, a book was published. As you can see, George Orwell's 1984. If you've not read this book, I encourage you, please do so. But a book that was written a few years, about 3 years before the NSA was founded, depicts exactly what you're going to see in some of the images and photos that are in the NSA building. So 3 years prior to the founding, we have George Orwell write a book telling us about the NSA and how they're gonna watch everything that we do. And then on the posters at the NSA, well, I'm gonna start throwing some up for you on the screen so you can get a visual idea. But for the most part, they mimic George Orwell's book to the T. But in a nutshell, what you're gonna see is security, 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 and how they beat that in the minds of their employees. But ultimately, it kind of is that George Orwell theme, which we see, and I've wrote them out here, but war is peace. We have freedom is slavery. This is something that George Orwell talks about in his book. And finally, ignorance is strength. But the one that the NSA seems to focus on is freedom is slavery, at least in their images and their propaganda photos that you see on the screen now. But there's a few that I want to highlight. The first one here that you see on the screen is don't talk yourself to death. With a skull, what are they trying to say? It means shut your lips, keep everything quiet. Don't tell anyone about what we do here because it's illegal. And then the death skull saying there's consequences for that. Here's another, and this I believe is one of the most stunning ones of the entire bunch. But here we have the last line from the Gettysburg Address. And you can see that they have scratched out with red blood style ink, under God. Keep in mind, this is in the 1950s and 1960s. Posters from that time period, there is no God, is what they're saying, under God. And then by the people, for the people, and of the people is scratched out, and with the word state in blood, as if to hint to the employees, God is not in charge. We, the state, control who you are. That's chilling to the bone. Here's another one, and this one is taken straight out of George Orwell's book. You can see all the little heads of people watching you. Security is everyone's responsibility. Or how about this, where they have combination lockers, kind of looks like binkies on their mouths, saying don't open unless we've told you to open, but put security where your mouth is, or just simply shh, don't say anything. This is another one here that drops chills down my spine, but it says, we are doing all we can to liberate those people who are still under the spell of this religious opiate. And you can see the little name, Nikita and K. I can't say the last one. But I'm not sure what religion exactly they are referring to as being that needed to have liberation. You need to have freedom from this, religion. What religion is it? It looks like maybe Catholicism, maybe Greek of some sort. But specifically, they're wanting their people to get liberated from whatever that is. Eerie. Here's another where they share a Chinese proverb. If you would lock a secret from your enemy, first turn the key on your friend. Don't share with nobody. Silence is golden, where they basically say don't share with your spouse. And here's one from the book of Revelation, if you will: security today, or they will ride tomorrow, with the four horsemen of the apocalypse, straight from the book of Revelation, saying if you talk about what we're doing, there's going to be an apocalypse. There should have been. There should have been more of an outrage with us finding out about the NSA when Edward Snowden, William Binney, and others told us about it. We should have had a stronger stance, but we didn't because we've been so watered down. Here's another. Remember, if your lips would keep from slips, 5 things to observe with care: what you speak, who you speak to, and how and when and where. In short, keep a clothespin on your lips. What that also tells me is that they're listening to their employees, who they're talking to, who they're with, what they're saying. This is a George Orwell nightmare, saying basically keep your lips shut because we know what you're doing, employee. So it's scaring an employee to a certain level to keep their mouth shut. But the same aspect, it also tells me that they're listening to who I speak to, who I talk to, who I want to communicate with. All in these posters. Propaganda posters. Here's another, again from George Orwell's book with the I there. Never underestimate the eye of the enemy. Be security wise. Or how about a phone simply being hung to death? What does that signify to you? So many of these posters. There's actually a file if you want to check out all of these. There's over 100 of these, 130 some odd of these, I believe, in total. So I encourage you, go to the link below, straight from the government's mouth themselves, straight on a government linked website. So they're 100% legit. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts. Are we under George Orwell's 1984 book? Are thousands of people getting their information recorded for a reason? Or is it just to put away for no reason at all? Look, they don't do something without having an agenda or a plan in place. Why risk it? Why risk getting the anger from the American people if it didn't pay off in the end? Why do they want your information? Do they want to control you? Are they worried about? What are they worried about? Anyhow, I'd love to get your comments, your concerns, and your thoughts on that. Please don't forget to check out my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com. He's got amazing stuff there also, gold, silver, precious metals. You can also convert your 401ks into a backed Roth IRA backed by gold and silver. I encourage you, with the economy, take advantage of that. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. If you like what you heard, give me a thumbs up, share it far and wide, and subscribe. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.